Today, we're going to help you get unfunked so you can shed the weight, fog, and funk of the world. Our guest today is going to help you feel fully you again. So get ready to get reconnected with your spark because Bloom Health Club starts now.
From the Stream Center, welcome to Bloom Health Club, sponsored by Monticciolo Family and Sedation Dentistry.
I'm your host, Gayle Guyardo, and our guest today created a movement to help individuals and teams break free from burnout, misalignment, and autopilot living. Joining me now is the author of the new book, Unfunked, Jamie Marco. It's so great to have you as part of Bloom Health Club.
Hi, Gail. So good to be here. And hearing you say author Jamie Marco, I just got all the chills again. It's like, it's very new.
I love it. And there's such a need for your new book because I think a lot of us do live like a rat on a wheel and we forget to cherish every moment. And I have to say that this time of year especially, we need to start doing that.
Yes, the funk is real. It shows up. And so someone once said to me, but we like funk, like uptown funk you up.
Yeah.
That is different kind of funk that I'm talking about. I'm talking about the funk that just gets you the negative energy, the noise that brings you down, that makes you just want to stay in bed and curl up, which sometimes is a good day as well too. But the funk is real and mostly this time of year.
And you say one of the most misused tools, underused, I guess I should say, tools to get rid of the funk is just learning to be appreciative. And I have to say, every day when I walk into this building, I just thank God that I'm still here, that I can still be creative and I can be around people and get their messaging out. And that is a great way to jumpstart the day, no matter what kind of mood you're in.
You are spot on. Just the fact that we get to wake up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my dad and I have a podcast together, and I always ask my dad, what are you grateful for today? He says that I woke up. You know?
I love that.
And that is a thing that, you know, we don't realize how grateful we can be just to be in this world, waking up, get to connecting with people, and really hearing different people's stories. And we forget that just telling people in our lives that we love them, we appreciate them, and we're glad that we're here. It is the most undersold habit you can have.
And I know you have young children. My youngest is now 18 and almost out of the house, which I'm totally dreading. But I am a big believer in feeding into my girls. I'm so proud of you, the way you handled this situation, the way you did this. You know, if we speak words of affirmation into the people that we love or even complete strangers, that too will help us get unfunked.
Yes, there is a true ripple effect to that. When you actually tell someone that and they feel it, they then do it to somebody else. It's called the butterfly effect. You know how you can tell one person one thing and then it spreads to the next. It's so true. And then more importantly, they start to tell themselves that they're proud of themselves as well too. So I hope you're doing that every morning as well too, where you're not just telling everyone and your girls, but you're telling yourself that you look in the mirror and you say, you know, Gayle, I'm proud of myself. That's huge as well.
I have to confess, I'm not so good at that. I think I'm probably a little overkill on the self-criticism. And I think a lot of people are like that. And then you get stuck in these imposter syndrome situations and self-doubt. And I don't know why. Maybe it's a me thing. Maybe it's something that a lot of women do, but it's something that I wish I had the tools to correct a little bit better than I do in life. I'm great at being anyone else's cheerleader.
And that's the hardest part, right? Is that finding the time for yourself. Now, when I look in the mirror, do I say, oh my gosh, I'm the most beautiful thing I've ever seen? No, I don't say that. And do I have flaws and things that I see as well? I do, but I also realize that, you know what? I didn't get to this part in life without the hard work that I put into it. I've got some more wrinkles, right? Okay, but every wrinkle tells a story. Every, you know, roll tells a story. And is it hard sometimes? Yeah, believe me, there's some times where I'm like, I am not going to post that picture, and that's okay too. But to recognize more of the good that you bring to this world, recognize, you know, how important you are and things that people need to see, that is huge. And that ripple effect affects your daughters. It affects their friends. It affects us all. Can I tell you a quick story?
Yes,
okay.
Please do.
So my daughter has a friend who recently something happened and got a blemish on their face. Listen, at that age, elementary school, blemishes on your face are not fun. And, you know, I've had a pimple here or there. We all have them. Those aren't good. But I was on a field trip recently to where she was like covering her face because she was cautious of it. And so I'm on a field trip on a bus and we're just talking. And I said to her, why are you doing that? Well, you know, people are saying something. And I said, well, if someone's saying something to you, that's not the friends that you want to have.
Right.
Your friends don't care what your face looks like. Your friends don't care if something happens. It's temporary. Your friends don't care about those things. Your friends care about who you are as a person person, and you should be proud of that. And another little kid next to us said, "Are you a therapist?"
Yeah.
I said, "I'm not, but I've learned, and it took me a long time." And so I pump my daughter with these things that, listen, the people that stand up for you, the people that are there for you, cheering you on no matter what you look like, what you're wearing, what you're doing, those are the people you lean into. And that comes around now as well too in the holidays. The people that love you for who you are, those are the people that you hold tight.
I love that. I love that. I want to bring in my producer, and she's directing Bloom Health Club today, Nacha Castillo. And, you know, I know that Jamie brings a lot of this good energy and helps people bring it in to the workplace. And you and I talk about this a lot, Nacha, that, you know, we have a very small but mighty team. And either we're going to flow and work well together or we're not. But I think because each one of us, Daniel, Terrence, you, Lily, myself, there's that constant appreciation. There's that constant fueling each other to try to lift each other. It makes a daunting job that much easier.
I think so. And I think that we have gotten to a really good synergy. As you were mentioning, we were talking about it a little bit ago, because we have all come with the intention of like knowing we're all rowing in the same boat. We're all going in the same direction, and we're a small team, but we can make it happen if we all chip in.
Yeah. And you know, not every team is like that. And I think we've all been in places in our life and our career where there maybe was that one person dragging things down, or, you know, kind of the fly in the ointment. But if you can create a shield with your force and your people in the workplace, it really makes the most tremendous difference. And we're all so much more productive.
Well, you spend more time with the people you work with than sometimes people that you live with.
Right.
So that support system is so essential, as long as everybody's brought along, right? We don't forget like one person. And you have a small team who's all been incredible. I'm not just saying that. They really are amazing and make me feel welcomed. But in bigger teams, sometimes we feel like everyone's there. So it's more about really checking in with everyone to make sure that they feel that same energy. You're so right.
I love it. I love it. It's so good. So you bring this in the workforce. We talk about this over the holidays, but there are going to be times, you and I spoke about this, and if you're around to watch our globally syndicated show, Bloom, that'll be airing, but this is a standalone streaming podcast that we hope you embrace. But during the holidays, it's tough for people. They have loss. Yep. They have estrangement. They have that annoying relative that just won't stop.
Sometimes it's them.
Yeah. So what do we do? What do we do?
I think, you know, I like to talk about a lot of times you need to just pause in a moment, because what happens is that we get emotionally hijacked. And sometimes in all the situations where we're over emotional because something's happened or someone's driving us mad or whatever it might be, when we get emotionally hijacked, we say things we don't want to say. Has it ever happened to you? Or you said something, you're like, oh, take it back.
Right.
Or we don't say something that we wish that we could say. So I like to think of it as a 3-piece framework. Pause, then shift what you're actually trying to do. Shift and say to yourself, you know, what is happening right now? What's happening in my body? What am I about to say? And then think about how you can spark either a different conversation, spark someone to go in a different direction, or spark to where you go in a different direction so that the outcomes are different. But that pause is so essential. Just stop yourself before you say something that you regret and you can't take back.
You know, in the season, we think about giving big gifts, you know, big gestures, but you say small kindness really goes a long way.
It's so huge. I actually gifted something recently to some people that you may know, and it's a company that I love to use. They're called Sugar Wish. And what I love about them is that you can actually send somebody a gift that they get to choose what they want. It could be candles, it could be coffee, it could be chocolates, but they get a gift that's meant for them. And it's the smallest little details, but it makes the biggest impact. And so something like that, where you think about, what is somebody like? What do they love? You know, I have a friend who loves crazy wild socks. Like, that's just his thing. So I went to the dollar store, like literally $1.25 now, but $1.25 store, and bought 5 pairs of socks, sent that to him. Gayle, if I could play you the voicemail that he left, he was like, no one's ever done that. And he is, you know, getting probably bigger gifts than just socks. but knew that I remembered the sock. So go back to thinking about, what do you know about that person? What would make them feel seen? It's the little things that make the biggest difference. And you don't have to go shopping at every possible store and spend a fortune. You just have to be intentional about what matters to you and what matters to that person.
I love that. I love that. We talked about this at the start of the podcast, but you wrote an entire chapter in your book, Unkunkt, and it is about appreciation. So talk to me about different ways that we can learn to appreciate.
Yeah, I have another framework. It's called see it, say it, stand for it. So when you see something, notice it, be aware of it. So now, I've had conversations. There's a few things I know about you that I'm not going to forget. I will remember forever. But, say it, say things out loud that matter to somebody. Say things that, are going to mean something to them, but then stand for it. And I joke a lot of times about that we don't do enough standing ovations. And I will do a standing ovation for somebody for the stupidest, littlest things. I will literally just stand up and be like, you know what? That was great. Well done. But we don't do it anywhere. And I think really it's a matter of those small celebrations. I typically carry around with me confetti, but it's not the messy kind. And I'm saying it now and I'm like, oh, I just don't have it in my bag right now. It's in my car, but it's no mess confetti. And I got it on one of those really great boutiques. You may have heard of it, Amazon.
Yeah.
But it's no mess confetti. And I have been known just to throw confetti at somebody for something that they've done that's just great and little and different, because we don't celebrate enough. We're always ready to catch those moments that, oh gosh, what a day. Oh my gosh, just want to get home. But there's so many beautiful moments in the day to celebrate. And that's all about appreciation as well, too, is letting other people know that those moments can be appreciated as well.
Before we move on, can you please explain to me what no mess confetti is? How does that even work? I'm stuck on that right now. I'm like, I'd Google it if I could.
Yeah, it's the most incredible thing. So it's a little pocket with a little handle on it, and you tear the tissue paper in that, and inside are all these streamers that when you throw it like that, all the streamers come out and it goes everywhere, but it's stuck inside. So it's no mess. You just ravel them up and clean it up. Good for cats, I've heard as well, too. Cats like playing with it afterwards. One-time use.
Okay.
I should have stock in that company, because I know now anyone listening is going to Google and find it.
Yeah, no mess confetti. I like that. It's like
best.
Fishing, but it's excitement.
Environmentally friendly as well, too.
Okay. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So how did you get into this? I mean, I know you take to stages, you work with corporations, you're a keynote speaker,
I am.
now an author. How did this all come to be?
It just naturally evolved that way. Although my parents will tell you that I came out of the womb talking. But my CV, if you look at it, everything at the foundation deals with working with people. My college degree was in interpersonal communications. I give a shout out to my professor in the book, Dr. Butler, who's no longer with us. But sitting in that class and hearing about the power, a 500-person class, but I was so dialed in to him talking about the power we have in connection. Then from there, I worked on a cruise ship. That was a whole other story, but I love that. But in that role, really, I always go back to the foundation of the cruise ship, because have you been on a cruise before?
Yes, it's been a while. It probably dates back to the Love Boat days.
I was Julie McCoy.
Yeah, you were Julie.
I was Julie
Okay.
McCoy. But we were trained that you couldn't walk by anybody without connecting. And it wasn't how are you, but it was like, what are you looking to do today? What's exciting? And we would get in trouble if we didn't talk to passengers. So that became the foundation of who I was. So much so that when I was off, I'd have worked 6 months on, have 6 weeks off. I'd be in Publix walking down the aisle and I'd say, hey, what's for dinner tonight? And they'd be like, who are you?
Who's this wackadoo?
Right.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, exactly. No, seriously, who is this wackadoo? But that just lived with me forever, that we have such a power to connect with other people, that I carried that through everything I've done over my career, that culminated into building this book about 11 things we can do to connect more with the people in our world and get rid of the noise. So that's where it all started. And then every job or every career, every opportunity I've ever had built up to it. And just, last year, someone said to me, you should write a book. And I was like, I've been wanting to for a long time. And I sat down and said, you know what? I'm ready. And then there was a few other things that came into it, but I don't know if they're appropriate for the podcast.
That's okay. We could be inappropriate.
There we go.
On the podcast.
Some tequila and some ideas. You're like, hey, here we go. And you sit down, you just start writing. So it just came to me.
I love that. So what do you hope the takeaway is for people who read your book?
Yeah, that's such a great question. I'm glad that you asked. The biggest thing is that there's no perfect person. We all have our funk, and And I'm getting emotional about it because I just have heard from so many different people about how they're like, you know what, I finally feel seen, that it's okay to have the funk and it's okay to have that there. It's about how you handle it and how you address it. And I talk about shedding your funk. Literally, I hope I'm not messing up any kind of thing in here, but shaking it off, shedding the camera, shaking off your body. Because when we reset, we connect with other people. And when we give other people grace, I had a conversation this morning with somebody who said, you know, I was so mad at you a couple years ago. You didn't show up for my kid's birthday party and this and that. I said, you know what? That is not something to get mad about. There could have been something that happened in my day. I don't remember. It was 2 years ago. But we all have things that happen in our day. This morning, somebody woke up to the news they lost a loved one. This morning, somebody was served divorce papers. This morning, someone's kid had a tantrum getting out of the car. And then we see them and we judge them for that. We get cut off in traffic all the time. We want to tell that person they're number one. Okay? Mm-hmm. Not with the number one finger, but some finger. But the sooner we realize we all have our funk, we all have it, we give grace to more people, we get unfunked and we do that, then the better the world becomes. And I'm ready for people to use it as an adjective and say, you know, I'm unfunked today. Mm-hmm. Woohoo, I love it. Or as a verb, I'm unfunking myself. Use it however you can just to rid yourself of the noise and the darkness in the world.
Yeah. And you were talking to me off camera a little bit about how maybe finding that somebody that's going to hear where you're at, like, especially during the holidays. And I'm really lucky. I have a friend. We don't jump into the rabbit hole and, double down on the funk, but it is nice.
You could.
Yeah, you could. Yeah. But sometimes, I'm not a believer in constantly rehashing, because then I get stuck like a rat on a wheel with whatever is bothering me. But it is nice to get it off my chest. It's nice to say, I really miss my parents right now, or I wish this particular relationship was a bit stronger. Like, I'm really feeling heavy over the holidays, because most of us keep that trapped inside, including myself.
100, and that's like a cancer inside, right? It totally is a cancer. The thing about it is, though, also training the people in your life about how to hear that funk. So my best friend and I talk almost every morning on the way to work or somehow. And she's married, she has an only child as well, too. We have a lot in common. So we talk about a lot of things. But it's kind of fitting for this time of year. Someone taught me in one of my classes years ago, use the ELF method. So when you're listening to somebody, or even before you share, it's about always having empathy, right? We have to have empathy. We should always be listening and dialing in, but the F goes to either being a friend or trying to fix it. So before I'm talking to her, I might say to her, listen, I don't want you to fix it. I just need to get it out. Or if I'm listening to her, I might say, hey, am I going to be a friend today or fix it? Because then I still listen, but I listen differently. Because how many times do you get unsolicited advice when you don't want it? Yeah,
well, I'm famous for giving unsolicited advice. And I know this because I have 4 daughters, and they have told me, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful that they feel comfortable enough to communicate with me, to say, Mom, I didn't call you to fix it. Because 2 of my daughters are in their 20s. Like they don't need me fixing their life anymore. And they almost take offense to that. So I'm trying to learn a new role in life of I don't have to jump in and glove up and make fix everything and come up with solutions.
Right.
Sometimes they just need me to hear them. And I think that, I wish I had learned that a little bit sooner, but I'm glad I've learned it now. Natcha?
Yeah, no, I can definitely identify with that. I feel like I fall into the role a lot of the times of the fixer, and sometimes I just need to be open to listening and just sharing the empathy. I mean, and talking about, getting unfunked, my family, and I'll share this, we went through a very, very, very hard loss. We lost my mom to pancreatic cancer a little over a year now. So sometimes it's hard to not get stuck in that. And it's really nice to be able to kind of talk and share the appreciation, and empathy with people that care about you, to be able to get unstuck from the funk, if you will, I guess.
Yeah. And that is the thing. It's not about just like getting rid of all those feelings, because those feelings are real. They make you who you are. But how many people don't know that about you?
Yeah.
And like that stuff, like, it's just so important that we talk more. We don't share our thoughts. We don't share our feelings, because most of us from a young age, we were told not to, or to hold it all in and not talk about it. And to turn you into a little bit of a happier moment, because I can see it's getting emotional, which I appreciate you sharing that. So thank you, because that's not easy. My daughter's going to kill me for sharing this with you, but she has a crush at school. Let me share with you why this matters. So we were talking about it, and they're sending this elf mail at school. And she said she wanted to send something to him. I said, that's fine. She goes, I think I want to tell him that I like him too. I said, you should do it. And she was like, what do I say? I'm like, just say I like you. I bet it's probably the first time he's ever heard. They were like in elementary school. Now, I got a lot of pushback on this saying, why would you tell your daughter to do that? Why would you tell her? I said, because what happens is that when we hold these feelings in, people don't know it. They don't know that. And we're just teaching that it's okay to share how we feel. We should do more of that so people have respect. There's days where I'm a 3 and I'm not feeling great. Maybe I had a fight with somebody or whatever it is. If I share that with more people, they would know, okay, let me give Jamie some grace right now. Yeah. On the anniversary of different things that come up in July or whatever it looks like, we should talk about these things more. When we don't, we just judge people. Wow, she wasn't very nice today, or she was rude today. But when we make it normal to share how we're feeling, then life becomes even better and your story's told. Yeah. And we don't have to keep it in. Yeah. Now, she did tell him and he did not react badly. So that's good. I said, he might hate you. He might be mean to you. Who knows? Whatever. I'm not going to put his name on air, but So we're learning through that though. And those are just lessons of us to learn of who we are. And it makes life even more beautiful and we all bloom.
Yeah, yeah. And I love how, Jamie, you remember July, because I told her that's when both my parents passed. That's the month. And Nacha, you and I have talked about how, like, even though your mom recently passed and my mom passed many, many years ago, probably 7-8 years, it seems like yesterday, but just by opening up the dialogue, you can have it to where it's okay to feel a certain way. It may last many, many years. There are days where you figure out ways to cope with the pain and you learn over time and you build together through community. So I love keeping the communication alive and having people that you can trust and turn to when you're feeling that heaviness. That's the main way 100%. To get unfunked.
100%. And the thing is that, like, unfunked isn't about getting rid of it completely. It's just realizing how you show up and giving you ways to connect with people in your world. There's a chapter about appreciation, about not judging yourself against other people. There's just the words that you use, how they directly impact the results that you get. So every chapter is built as a choose your own adventure book as well too. So you can go where you need, when you need it, because everyday life brings new things and new challenges. And we just need to shed our funk, find our light, and move forward.
I love it. All right, let's talk some viewer questions here.
Okay, fun.
So Matt wrote in, and he wants to know, what's the difference between being tired and being emotionally depleted?
You want to go, or you're asking me, right?
Yeah.
I think the biggest difference is that how long it continues for, right? So if you start to feel emotionally depleted where you just don't have any energy at all and you just can't show up at all, that is when I would recommend getting some help on that, because there's something probably going on. Listen, we're all tired. We're all trying to do things every day. But when you find that sunshine and that star and that brightness in your day, then that I can't even speak there. That gives you back your energy, right? So I think the biggest difference is how long it continues for.
Okay. We have about a minute left in the podcast. So let's get to
rapid
Jessica.
Fire.
Yeah, she wants, what practices can help you reconnect with your inner compass when you've drifted and fallen into that funk?
Sure. There's 2 habits. I would say wake up every morning and set an intention for that day. Write it down, remember it, and live it. And at the evening, every night before you go to sleep, think about what you were grateful for. Those 2 small micro moves help you find your way back to your inner compass.
Okay, we have one more. I think we can fit in the last one. Kate wants to know, what is one belief about productivity that we should unlearn in order to begin healing?
Yeah, done is better than perfect. I love that. I heard that before, where nobody is perfect. And I think we try to be the perfect version of so many different things, and productivity, just get it done. Move it on. It doesn't have to be perfect.
All right. Well, listen, thank you so much. Congratulations on your new book, Unfunked. It is absolutely amazing. And it's just a pleasure to have you as the newest member of Bloom Health Club.
Thank you. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much.
And we want to thank Monticciolo Family and Sedation Dentistry for believing in us so that we can bring these amazing guests to you. And don't forget, you can watch our streaming show, Bloom Health Club, anytime on Apple TV, Fire TV, Roku, Samsung TV, WFLA.com, and YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. I'll see you on the next Bloom Health Club.